Hello and welcome to Millie's Mystic Musings. Today we are going to be talking about water. Now, why are we going to be talking about water? Because it's actually a very important element and it impacts on everybody on this earth. Water is something that we take for our health. Water is something that we bathe in. Water is something that we wash clothes in. Water is something that I think we take very much for granted and perhaps shouldn't. If we think about water from a scientific perspective, water is actually a very unique substance. It's the only substance on Earth that can be fluid, that can become a solid through freezing, or it can turn into ether. It can be boiled and turned into steam. So it's quite a special substance for that reason. There are other reasons though. If you look at water in respects to your body, I think you know that you are made up of 70%, if not more, water within your body, and that each individual cell is actually made up of 90% water. So the water that goes into your body, around your body, absorbed by your body, actually has a great impact on your well-being. Now, if you approach it from a metaphysical, a spiritual, mystic perspective, people like Sadhguru, who is an Indian mystic, talks about water in respects of the energy that it has, and he very much speaks of water as a living entity. He believes, and it has been scientifically proven, that water has a memory, that the molecular structure of water can actually absorb the energy around it, but also hold that and have memory of it. So when it comes through the pipelines to you in your tap, it's already experienced a lot of energy, and that energy is then something that you pour into your glass and you drink. So he actually gives very good practical advice on how to feel a little bit more involved in this process and how to provide energy and positivity to the water that you are drinking and absorbing. And it's as basic as, if you get a glass of water, it comes out of the tap, you hold the water in your glass in your hands, and you look at the water and you say a little prayer of gratitude to your water, and you say positive affirmations to the water. According to Sadhguru, the water absorbs this and it eliminates whatever negative energy is there, whatever negative memory is there, and it transforms it in a matter of minutes into something that you can then absorb into your body, and it then ultimately has a more beneficial effect to your body, according to Sadhguru. There's more to water. There's other things that you can do with water in order to energize it. There was a scientist called Victor Schumenberger who was around in the late 1800s to mid 1900s, and he looked at water and the structure of water under the microscope and identified these beautiful hexagonal shapes or crystallizations once the water was frozen. And he then put the water into some experimental situations where it was exposed to different elements. It could be exposed to chlorination. It could be exposed to a lack of flow. It could be exposed to a lack of sun. And he found that the structure of the crystallization, the formation, the hexagonal, changed and became visually this very dark, very disturbed looking shape that he identified as the death of the structure. So his theory then came to say that the structure of the water, the cellular structure, can actually go from active and living to destroyed and very much in a death-like state. So he spoke about how in nature, when water flows, it flows in ripples, it flows in spirals, it flows in a way that it absorbs the air, the oxygen, and it becomes a living, beautiful thing. It also absorbs the elements around it, the microbes, the elements that come from nature, the rocks and all the minerals as it flows. And so it's more than just what it appears when you look at that beautiful, clear, crystallized water. And when you absorb that, you absorb all that nourishment as well. And he speaks very much of the fact that as I mentioned before, in the towns that we live in the cities that we live in, water is exposed to a lot of different chemicals in order for it to, in science, so-called live and be so-called good for us. It's also put into a pipe system that is very, very, very far away from a stream. It does not flow naturally. It's pumped. It has these sharp corners that it would not find in nature. And he advocates very much that this whole process for water does not help it vibrate. It does not help it live, does not help it to be that lovely, nurturing source once you place it in your body. So he also talks about the idea of re-energizing the water that you're exposed to. And this is also promoted by other physicists who looked into water, like Lord Kelvin, who was very much of the belief that exposure to ultraviolet light was a very good way of bringing the energy back into the water. So he spoke of placing water into the sunlight in order for the heat, the ultraviolet light, to have a scientifically proven impact on the water in a way that is positive, in the way that is re-energizing and revitalizing. So you can hold the water in a glass and you can give thanks to the water. You can place your glass on the windowsill and let the sunlight come into the water, so the ultraviolet has an impact on the water. And there is also a belief that the color of the glass has an impact on the vibration of the water, and that a crystal glass with a very midnight blue color has the capacity to create the best vibration. So if you put that glass on the windowsill with the water in it, you are then giving water the best opportunity to revive and to cleanse itself, so that once you actually put that into your body, it has the most beneficial effect. I'm sure there are a lot other theories out there in water, and feel free to share them. I am always learning, and I find this topic very fascinating. The video that I took for this podcast was from a local stream. I actually found it very beneficial to sit while the video was rolling, listening to the water, watching the water. It was a very meditative process, so I do advocate that as well, if that's something that you would like to do. Okay, well, I'm going to leave you there. Bye for now.